Okay, January 25th, 2022. It just doesn't stop, people. She does it on this side this time because I guess they're trying to hide it, right? Because that's what they do, right?
Going to be able to live with this virus and whatever happens next.
So much predictive programming, people. And they're still learning.
2.
Okay, you ready?
Over to Minister Dix.
Here it comes. Right up in here. Looks like it's coming up in here, too. Did you see it? Hold on.
For how we're going to be able to live with this virus and whatever happens next. 2. Over to Minister Dix.
Did you see it?
Over to Minister Dix.
Okay, people. So, September 25th, and my neighbor came by and gave me some more food. These are frozen carrots, shredded. You can see. I got 6 boxes full. You can see how big this box is. So, I'm going to do something with them. I'm going to dehydrate quite a few of them anyway. Probably 3 boxes full, right? I don't know. I'm going to see if I can incorporate this into some canning because I got some chicken, some beef. Yeah. So, and some other things. Right, hold on. These are good. I like these. These are good for Amari. Right? My son already took down the chicken. There was a ham there. Here's some cheese. It was frozen, right? And here's the beef, right here. So I'm going to can up the beef. I got Tisha. She went off and bought me a big box of sweet potatoes. Cost 60 bucks. And a big box of, what is that called? Yams for 60 bucks. Okay? That's what all I was planning on doing was that. In terms of dehydrating them. And so I always have them for the kids, right? And then we've got cheese here. Frozen. Yogurt for the kids. Oh, yeah, lots of yogurt here for the kids. So that's good. Andre scored on a big, big box of Cheerios. So he is really, really happy. right. What is this? Oh, children's Tylenol. There you go. That's good. There's another one here. I was just thinking about this too, actually, to be honest with you. All right, just to have it on hand in light of what our government's doing. Actually, this would be good for little Kyrie, right? Because it's for little babies. So I'll give that to Tisha maybe, or just keep it on hand. So anyway, hold on. Okay, so next day, this has been in my kitchen on the floor in a box, unthawing. So now I can grab it. It's really, really nice and cold. So I'm thinking to make like a V8 juice, because I've got frozen tomatoes in my freezer downstairs from whenever I grew them. Long time ago, people. So maybe I'll cook those up. I'm not sure. Because I can't get to the grocery store to buy tomatoes, right? So I'm just going to use what I have for now. And I need to use them up anyway. So as I put this into my mouth, they're very soft. So honestly, I wanted to blanch them before this box I'm going to try and dehydrate. But being that they pretty much just melt in my mouth, like literally, I don't think they're going to hold up to blanching. I really don't. So I think in this situation, I'm just going to throw them onto trays, and I'm going to dehydrate them, and then maybe I'll take and make it like a carrot powder. That's what I'm going to do with these. I'm going to make a carrot powder. I'm not rinsing them, nothing, because I'm too afraid that once I start doing that, they're going to, what do you call it? Disintegrate. Okay? Because they're like literally dissolving in my mouth. So we'll start with that, and then the other boxes are out on the porch. I would assume that they're still quite frozen because it's cold outside. And then bring another box in, and as these are dehydrating, the other one, I will just check the box when I get it. So hold on. Okay, so as I do this, I'll talk to you. It's really funny because like not even 2 days ago, you know, I'm winding down, people. I did buy a 40-pound box of sweet potatoes and a 40-pound box of the orange yam, which is not really a yam, but anyway. So that's what, 80 pounds I'm getting delivered today. Tisha went and got them for me. It cost me $120. It was $60 a box at approximately $1.49 a pound. That's a really good deal, okay? Got it from a Punjabi store. Okay. And they were hard to find. And so I said, Tisha, you know, this is just something that we have to do. So I got those coming because I was going to dehydrate. I told you I want another jar or two. So we've got another 80 pounds of basically yams and sweet potato coming in, which more than likely I'm just going to keep it simple and dehydrate them all. Okay? Because there's, you know, there's only so much room in my house, and, you know, I just spent $146 on jars, and now I'm finding out that I'm going to get more of this throughout a period of time. I don't know what that time is, you know, but the thing is, I was thinking about carrots like 2 days ago, right? Because I got my yams covered, you know, and, you know, the sweet potato is covered. And I'm like, well, you know, you need to get some carrots and do something with some carrots. Like, what you gonna do, right? Shred carrots? You know, you're gonna, right? Well, sure enough, I got 6 boxes of frozen shredded carrots. Now, like if somebody's not listening, I don't, like, it's just weird, right? You know, that I should be thinking about stocking up on some carrots. I just wasn't too sure how I was gonna do it or where I was gonna find them, right? But besides that point, so anyway, I was talking to my other neighbor just yesterday, as a matter of fact, and I told her to come and grab a few carrots if she wants, right? And she was telling me that she's been out, like she gets to go out shopping, right? And because we're talking about making sauerkraut, because you know, right? I have this crock pot that's quite large that I'm kind of nervous to use because it was a little chipped. And anyway, the company sent me a gift certificate for $125 to compensate for that. So I'm going to order just more sprouting seeds and that kind of thing, right? But in the meantime, I'm still with this crock pot. And I told her, we need to make sauerkraut. She wants to do a whole head of cabbage and for leaves, fermented, to make something that she likes to make, right? And I said, well, hey, I got the perfect crock pot for that, right? Well, long story short, she's talking to me, and she's telling me how one head of cabbage, people, one head of cabbage is $8. I said, $8? Like, holy crumb. Like, that's a lot of money just for one head of cabbage. $8. And there was something else that she was telling me about that was extremely expensive. Broccoli too, or something. I don't know what it was, but it was something that was $8, right? And so I don't know how we're going to make sauerkraut, but if it comes to that, people, after I'm done all caught up and everything, and cabbage is $10 a head, in a situation like that, if we can't find it, like in terms of like if we really want it, or I don't know about her, but there's going to come a time when I'm going to want to do some sauerkraut, ferment it, and then I'm going to want to can it. So, she kind of wants to do the same thing. So for me, in a situation like that, it might come a time when I have to spend $100 just for 10 heads of cabbage. Unless, of course, I just think I want cabbage and then it shows up in my door. Right? So it's hard to say, because I'm serious. I was just thinking like 2 days ago about stocking up on carrots. I just didn't know where I was going to get the carrots from or what I was technically gonna do with them, because I'm afraid that the way things are going, there's not gonna be that much available, and if it is, it's gonna be $8 or $10 a bag, as if I can afford that, because Tisha's moving on, right? And so I don't know what my son is doing. I mean, this is not really the time to be leaving me with strangers in the house, but I can't hold him back either, because, he's a man. He wants to get on with his life, start his own family. But if this keeps going like this, for me, it's just being able to pay my rent, right? That's how it goes, people, right? I don't have to worry about the high cost of food, right? Doing what I've been doing, okay? And if God is providing me, which I think He is, right, a way to compensate for that increase in inflation and all that crap, right, then I'm not, I can't turn my back on it by being, I don't want to say lazy, but it kind of boils down to that, right? It's like, seriously, this is like 3 times I tried to put my dehydrator away, and now I'm pulling out my 3rd dehydrator, people, today. And if I have to, I think I've got another one downstairs. But I'm hoping I'm going to pull out my other big one, which gives me 4 more trays to compensate, right? Because you have to work fast with this stuff. This is where we need a community kitchen, right? Because this is from different people that are with a different organization that are receiving donations and are thinking about my family. So, right? So these are quite nice. They're very cold. They're actually very, very cold. But they're palatable now. So I'm just spreading them on nicely on the tray. I'm not going to blanch them. I thought about blanching them because apparently it retains the color and everything a little better. But they will just turn to mush if I do that. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to spread them out. Put them on the dehydrator. Right? Get them going. And because they're shredded, they won't take long. They'll go fast. And then, take out another dehydrator. Because I don't know what's coming next, and I'm not turning it away. I would be a very foolish woman to turn it away at this point, people. Knowing what I'm knowing and hearing what I'm hearing from my neighbors, like, this is just not the time to be turning away food, right? I'm tired, but whatever. This is a blessing So I'm, you know, I'm going to work with what I got. And like, who would be mad? I'm not mad. I'm a little stressed out. I'm not mad though. So now I'm like, okay. And I've got those chickens downstairs unthawing. I'm not going to start them today. I'm going to start them tomorrow. I just got jars. Good to go. I pleaded with Tisha to go find me more jars as a backup, just in case, right? She's going to have to lend me the money for that. Because if more comes, I'm either doing this or I'm canning it. One or the other. That's what I'm doing. And, what do you call it? So when the chicken is ready, which I'll probably start tomorrow or the next day, because they're frozen, so they're in the fridge right now, so I might be able to get an extra day before I have to start them. And I'll be doing 3 chickens, and I'm going to can them, right? I was thinking of maybe mixing a little carrot in them, but you know what? I just might go with the carrot powder as much as possible and try and make maybe a vegetable V8 type juice with a lot of carrot juice in it, right? So I'm going to now have to go downstairs and grab my big ass pot. I'm trying to think where my other big ass pot is, because I got big ass pots in this house, okay? I know where one is. I don't know where the other one is because I move things around. But I'll start with the one today, okay? Today. And I'm going to start cooking up these carrots because, you know, I don't want them. I don't know how well they're doing outside right now. And I want to go through them fast, right? So I'm going to cook up basically, I'll start with a half a box. And I'm going to make a nice broth. And because these carrots are so fine, right, in terms of once they hit the water and start cooking, they're just going to turn into a really, really nice pulp, right? And then that's where I put that pot after the fact in the fridge, cool it down, and can sit there for a day or so, or 2, right, as I work on the other part of the juice, which I have to go grab those tomatoes. I'll show you them. They've been in my freezer for a long, 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 long time. So, you know, they will be perfectly fine for what I need. And you'll see how beautiful they are even after all this time. I'd have to go into my videos, people, to pinpoint how long ago I grew them in my yard. Because those ones I grew in my yard, and it was a bounty crop. It was like in 2000 and, I don't know, maybe 16, 17. Something like that. In around that time period. And, what do you call it? You know, with the onion, and so, I don't know, I'm working on it. So I'm back in the kitchen. And not only am I back in the kitchen, but I'm having to pull out pots now. Big pots. And another, more than likely, dehydrator. I'm going to see if I can just work with the one dehydrator right now. I don't know how many trays I got on it. Something like 10. Plus I've got this little one, so, right? And then after I can the chicken, I'm going to take the bones and I'm going to make broth, right? Chicken broth. And I'll can a few jars of that as well, right? I will do that for sure. And, then I got a little bit of beef that I'm going to do, right? And then we'll see what happens, because they said they're going to give me more stuff. I said, oh, okay. They say they get stuff every day. I said, every day? Well, I hope they don't give me stuff every day. That would be too hard to keep up with that, unless, of course, I had a kitchen. If I had a kitchen, like a functioning kitchen, the way I would like to see it be, it would be easy, right, in terms of going through that assembly line. But where I'm working, oh boy, it's tough. Okay, so right now I've currently got already 5 trays and still a half a box. So each box takes up about 10 trays, 10 to 11 trays. But these are shredded, so they'll dehydrate fast. So by tonight, these things will probably be done. So hopefully I'll bring another box in, and we'll let it unthaw, and then we'll repeat the process as soon as these are dry. And then to keep it simple and take up less space, then I'm going to powder them up. And then, because they weren't blanched, if you put them in a jar after the fact, I would think, because it's powder, it's better to use an oxygen absorber, because the vacuum sealer, for whatever reason, doesn't do well with powder. Even if you put, what are those, coffee filters, and, you know, it's like, it's a hit and miss, whether your jar will seal and then remain sealed. I find using an oxygen absorber tends to hold the jar in place a little better. Now, I still have some, thank God, right, because I didn't use them all the first time around. So I'm just using what I've got right now. So that's the plan for these carrots. So I'm going to get this whole box ready in the dehydrator. And then I'm going to go, I'm kind of in a panic. Can you see? Can you tell? You can hear it in my voice. Right? I'll go downstairs. I'm going to grab my big pot and make way to start making a vegetable juice with, I've got 1 pepper. Maybe my son has peppers downstairs, but I've got dehydrated peppers. So I'm actually thinking of bringing out my crock pot, setting it up on the counter, right? And throw in like the onion, the pepper that I have. I have dehydrated pepper in my closet. I'm stressing out. In my cupboard, so I can throw in some dehydrated pepper into that. And I've got a little bit of celery in the fridge, right? And if I need more, I've got dehydrated celery. So I can start the flavorful part of, because I'm doing it in 3 batches. I'm going to cook up a big pot of carrots for the bulk of the juice. And then I'm going to go get those tomatoes, and I'm going to cook up a big pot of just tomatoes and then process them, because they got skins on and they're frozen. So I'm just cook them all up like that, and then I'll process them somehow. I have to get into something else to, this house is just, anyway, I'll figure it out. And then, of course, we've got the flavoring with the onion, the celery, the peppers, a little bit of garlic, some spices, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, and we're probably going to end up using a little bit of lemon juice, people, right? We're probably going to end up using a little lemon juice. Now, it has to be in a pressure canner after the fact because it's got vegetables, okay? The only time you can use a water bath when you're using juices, basically, is with fruits, okay? Other than that, anytime you're getting into a vegetable, it's got to be in a pressure canner, okay? It has to be. But because we're using a bit of vegetables, I want to just, bring up the acidity a little more. So we're going to probably end up using a little bit of lemon juice to top things off after the fact. And I'm kind of shooting for at least 12 jars, quart size. Because I only have so many jars. Right? So at least 12 jars. It might be more than 12 jars. But if it tastes good when you put it into the jar, it's going to stay good, okay, in terms of taste. And in a situation like that, you can use it for soups, like a broth, right? You can use it just for flavoring of soups and stews, and you can cook your rice in it, that kind of thing. If you're a little concerned to open it and drink it, but in terms of a vegetable juice versus a fruit juice, okay, in terms of, right? Because anytime you can a vegetable, after you open the can, you should heat it up just to be safe, on the safe side, right? But I seen a recipe where, it added a little lemon juice in there, which might help. I don't know. I just know that I don't want what I've got to go to waste. So in a situation like that, if I make 12 jars, we'll just say of what I'm talking about, with or without lemon juice. It's not like I don't have the lemon juice, so more than likely I'll put it in there just to bring up the acidity in it for preservative reasons. And say you opened a jar and you wanted to drink it, but you weren't completely comfortable. Smelled good, it looked good, everything indicated that it was good, but because it had a vegetable base in it, right? And you start drinking it without heating it up for that 10-minute period on a boil of some sort, you could be subjecting yourself to botulism, because at the end of the day, botulism is something that you can't see, smell, or taste. And it doesn't necessarily spoil your food. That's why they recommend that you boil your meat and your vegetables after you've opened your cans. So even if you wanted to drink that juice after the fact, before you drink it, you could just simply heat it up on the stove as a fail-safe measure, like you would with a can of chicken or fish or beans or whatever. Bring it to a boil, turn it down a bit, keep it on a medium boil, medium to low boil, right, for that 10 minutes with a lid on, right? And that would remove any concerns that you might have. Let it cool down, and then put it in the fridge, and you could drink it in peace. I'm just saying. Or you can put it in a pot and use it as stock for something, whether soup, cook your rice in, cook your beans in, whatever it may be. Right? Because I'm like wrapping my head around these carrots. I was wanting carrots. I didn't expect to get 6 boxes full, okay, of shredded carrots yet to boot. But it was godsend. So I'm feeling a little overwhelmed here, because like I said, I've been putting away my stuff. But every time I put it away, I'm finding out I'm having to pull out more. And this is not the time to be stubborn and say, I don't want it. In terms of I don't want to do the work. No. I will do the work. Because, even though I don't look like I have a large family, I kind of do, right? Because if worse comes to worse, I tell Tisha, like, the babies will have the yams and the sweet potatoes, right? I do them more for the kids than I do for anything else, people, right? Amari, especially Amari, right? Because he will always need that in his diet, the way I'm preparing it for him. And making sure it's available, right, long term, without having to pay $200 for the same box in a year from now, assuming that you can even find them. Because globally, there's something going on. I don't know what it is. I don't want to speculate at this point and get jaded, but I'm going to try and stay on the positive path. So, okay, so I got to get on with this, and I'll be back. Hold on. Oh, yeah, and when I get kind of tired, I move kind of slow, but I pace myself. This was the last little batch of sweet potato and the orange yam, little half and half, right? That's all nicely done, okay? And but I've got another 80 pounds coming in. Cost me $120, but I'm happy with it. And then there's that ginger from Peru. You can see something like that. You can throw the whole ginger into your pot, and that will be enough flavor to do whatever it is that you want to do, or you can shred it if you wanted to. And then there was just a little leftover of these things that I had in my fridge, those little kale things, so they're there. I'll put that one with the other bag. So I've got 4 more trays here. Oh, 5, 6. 6 more trays here. And yeah, we're rocking. So you can tell I work my stove hard, eh? Okay, do you see? It's sprouted. Looking pretty good. Right? Not much room left in there. And then we've got, if I leave this for a few more days, they'll be really, really nice. But that's it now. My son's gonna cook up that ham. So I'm going to put them in the bowl, all of it. That's the wheat, or maybe the rye. Let's just see what we get. Hold on. So there you go. That's the wheat. Right? They're breaking off these stems, eh? Because, you know, you rinse whatever, right? So we know that grows. Okay? We know these grow, the organic mung beans. So in a situation from 2020, in a situation like this, honestly, I should probably buy another bag as soon as I can afford it. And then we've got these ones yet. Hold on. So yeah, these are pretty cool, people. Right? 3 different kinds. So this is all my plant food that I made. Pineapple cantaloupe peels. Here's a little bit more pineapple. Right? Those pineapple tops didn't make it. They were too old. This is a mushroom for garden fertilizer. This is a mushroom that I dehydrated back in 2011. I decided I didn't want it. So I ground it up, and I'll experiment with making fertilizers or using it just as a mulching method in between whatever I'm doing. This is vegetable scraps, like, you know, you seen me do that, right? Not the rotten kind, but like when you peel a potato. Well, no, I didn't do potatoes, but when you peel like a carrot, or, you know, you cut up a pepper and the stem and the seeds and just miscellaneous stuff like that, right? So plant food. This one is plant food, right? It says yogurt on there. I don't know what's going on in there. Actually, I got eggshells too. So, oh, maybe this is a yogurt that I don't like. That's what it is. It's a yogurt I dehydrated and I decided I didn't like it. So that's calcium. And then this is pineapple, so I'm going to put it in that bag. So keep them and put them in a box. I'm clearing off, right? There's the mandarin orange and peels. I got a little bit for upstairs. These are really good. I really like these. This one will go downstairs. I wish I had time to make jar covers, because I've got the navel oranges and these ones, right? So it'd be really nice to have jar covers. Otherwise, I'll have to find a box and put them in a box. I don't have the original box that the jars came in. There's that, what is that? Peru baby ginger, right? I'm thinking to still put these back in the dehydrator at some point, just for a little while. But I gotta do these carrots first, so just because they were whole, right? And then this is all that miscellaneous cabbage and kale and carrot pieces and those bags, those salad bags that come in with the pumpkin seeds and those kind of things. So I got a full jar with that. This one's going into long-term storage, so I will either vacuum seal or I will use an oxygen absorber. Hold on. Look at that, people! I got my stove! Yay! I put the element in. Yay! Hey! I'm so happy. Happy. Okay. Just gotta pace yourself through this. I don't know, it's 1:30 in the afternoon. It took me a while to pull out my stove and do all that, and then I washed the floor a bit, and then I washed dishes, and anyway, I just got in from downstairs. These are tomatoes from my garden. I don't know how many years ago. Okay, quite a few actually. They were in a box. Okay, look how nice. Look how nice after being in the freezer for, I don't know, seriously, quite a few years. Quite a few years, people. Look how nice. I'm going to show you how nice. What you do is you freeze them whole. Where am I? Can I see? I'm getting a lot of glare right now. You freeze them whole. And then after they're frozen, you throw them in a bag, put them in a box, and away you go. Look at that. Perfectly fine. Nice, nice, nice. So anyway, I'm using those. And then I've got another can downstairs that's not so beat up. I like Heinz tomato juice. You can see this one's quite beat up. This one here is not. So I'll probably use, I don't think I'll use that one. I'm sure it'll be fine, but I'll probably use that one as I'm cooking, right? And then these are my carrots. One box already dehydrated. I got another box in the dehydrator. I got 4 more to go. So how much I'm going to use here. Now I do have 24 cans, or 24 jars of 1 liter. I asked Tisha to go buy me some more because, you know, don't be foolish. This is not a time to be foolish, okay? Sorry, wandering eye. So 1 big box, narrowed down to that. Some of these I'll put in 1 liter size jars and vacuum seal them after I get more jars. And I will do some that are not powdered, like this, right? And then I'll do a few jars that are powdered after I'm all said and done, because the majority of these carrots will be dehydrated. And a couple of these bags will be powdered up. And then of course I put them in 1 liter jars and vacuum seal them and they go downstairs. Okay. But I'm going to need jars for the juice that I'm making. Juice / broth. Vegetable broth. Okay? Because after it's all said and done, I know a lot of people open their jars and they just eat right out of the jar. It doesn't matter if it's meat, whatever, potatoes, whatever, but it always goes to that, in my opinion, for me, the golden rule. If it's a vegetable or a meat, heat it up, bring it to that boil, turn it down, have it on a low boil, right, with a lid on it for 10 minutes, then eat it, because of the possibility of botulism based on it being meat or a vegetable of some kind. And because we're using carrots, and I'm going to put in some onion and I got 2 green peppers, I've got a little bit of celery, I know I've got shredded horseradish around here somewhere, so I'm going to throw that in there, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, maybe some ginger, some garlic, going to blend it all up, right, and we're going to see what we get, and then I'm going to can it. And then I still want at least 6 jars for broth for the chicken that I'm going to do tomorrow. They're in the fridge right now. They're almost unthawed, so they'll be fine for 1 more day. And then my son was going to cook this ham that was given to us, but you know, he works, he's busy. So he was talking soup. I don't want soup. I want comfort food. So I am going to put it in the oven, people. I have an oven now. And I'm going to make some potatoes with it. And I found some cheese bread in the freezer when I was down there. So I'm going to make a nice little comfort food meal for everybody. So I'm going to start with these, though. So I guess rinse them off quickly, throw them on a pot, and then I'm going to start cooking them all. And then I've got one of these things, and I'll, right, and that will be our base to start throwing in carrots, or maybe I'll start the carrots and the vegetables in a separate pot, right? It's hard to say, and then blend it up, and then combine the two as I go along for taste, right? And then, of course, I'll also use a tomato juice from a can. So yeah, look how nice that is. I haven't rinsed them off yet. Okay, so now this year, I don't know, I'm going to be doing a lot of soil amendments in terms of you know, just with everything going on, right? Last year, growing season was bad, even for my landlady, because of the weather, whatnot. And now, some of these tomatoes may have been ripened in a box. I don't remember. Like, there was just a bounty year of tomatoes. Like, I had so many tomatoes, I had them coming out of my ears. They say don't can tomatoes that ripen inside the house. It's best to can them off the vine, right? But in this situation, you know, these things have been in the freezer for like 4 years, 3 years, however many years. Can't even remember. I have to go into my videos to find out exactly when they all came in from. This year I hardly got any tomatoes, and by the time I brought them in, they had already started to freeze. So anything that I did try to ripen inside actually didn't go because I left them outside too long, and the weather shifted real fast and got cold and started to freeze them. So besides that point, it became compost, right? I wasn't too sweating it because I knew I had these, right? And I still have more downstairs. So this is a good base between these two. This is a good base for the tomato, right? And if I need to, I've got another can downstairs of Heinz tomato, but I only have so many jars. That's the thing, right? So being that I'm going to be cooking this and stewing it for actually quite a long time, I think it's going to work out perfectly fine. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so rinsed them off. Now I'm not using a lot of water, and I am going to be simmering this, right, at some point. I'm not sure, honestly, I'm not sure what I'm doing. I'm just doing. Okay, so there's about maybe, I don't know if that's too much water, but I can always simmer it down, right? Because sometimes the longer you simmer things, the tastier it gets. With it sitting in the freezer for so long, you can see at some point something split there, but that's, you know, to be expected, right? So something says put a little bit of salt in there, so I'm putting about a tablespoon to start. Okay, I'm just going to sprinkle it on top. I'm moving around. I guess I should just put it in the water. I don't know. Once it starts steaming up, just spread it around. Okay, it's just Himalayan salt, right? And then get it going, put the lid on, and then we're going to see what happens with that, okay? Now I'm going to work on this. Okay, so they came to a boil. Now I think I've changed my mind. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take them out, right? And I'm going to take off the peels. And after the peels are off, I'm going to take them into this thing and run them through that. And that will take out seeds and whatever, and then we'll just see what we get in terms of a pulp, right? And then I'll put it back in there, and then I'm just going to throw in other things. Right, so we'll see. Okay, so doesn't take me long before I cut myself. Jeez, oh jeez. Anyway, so that's our start. We know what we're going to do with those. This is just little miscellaneous vegetables. This is my son's cilantro, I guess. I had a little bit of celery, and there's a green pepper in there. So we're going to throw that in there. Okay, this is what we're doing. Now I do have one more small green pepper, but you got to be careful with peppers, right? Because they can get really overwhelming, like really overwhelming. And we don't want that, right? So, and you know what? I have dehydrated red peppers. I should try and find them and throw a few of them in there. And I might even throw in a, what is that called? Chili pepper. Why not? I'll throw one in. Okay? There we go. There's an onion. I'm going to do the whole onion. And then I'm going to throw some carrots in there. And then some of that dehydrated food. I think I have parsley, fresh parsley. I have to find it. Right? And we'll start with that, right? Start cooking that up. Oh, and some garlic. And probably, oh, I want horseradish. So I'll have to find that. And start cooking it, right? Because you want to taste it, eh? You know? That's horseradish. I have some already, you know, this is dry, eh? It's been, okay? I just did it right now, you can see. I have some of that around in a little container, but, you know, it's not like I've been cooking a lot these days, more like doing food prep. But besides that point, so then some of that stuff that I found frozen outside at Pastor Granny's house, right?
Smells yummy.
Well, it's gonna be a juice. That's what it's gonna be.
Oh, it smells like good. I'm like,
Yeah, no,
That's not good to eat.
this is the, well, it will be a juice or a soup base for something, or maybe cook it up with rice or beans or whatever. So, by the time I'm done, I would suspect this pot will be full. But as I go, I'm going to have to puree certain things. Well, I'm going to have to, all of the vegetables, right? Because I'm going to can, we want it, we don't want it real thick, but we want it with the pulp, okay? Now, there's a difference when you can chicken noodle soup. Technically, you're not supposed to put the noodles in. Now, I've had a few noodles in my soup with chicken noodle soup, the bigger noodles, one or two, nothing too major, that because what happens is the flour, it swells, eh? And then when you're pressure canning, it's hard for the heat to travel through the food. That's why they don't recommend squashes and stuff in terms of being really pulpy, right? Like a pumpkin, you're not supposed to can technically pumpkin. It's all mushed up because the heat doesn't travel through it as well, but whatever. Okay, so, and you're not supposed to make gravies and stuff like that technically when you're canning your meats and stuff, okay? That's not to say that, like I've got some beef here that when I can tomorrow, the chicken, I left 2 out and I noticed they're in gravy. Now, I don't know what kind of gravy, but I will definitely be canning those up. But at the same time, I will dilute the gravy so that it's not so thick, assuming that it's thick. I don't know until I open it up, right? It's just beef and gravy. And then I guess you cook it. It's just 2 little ones, so I'm going to cook them up at the same time when I do the chicken tomorrow. And I just find that, as much as I love my deep freeze, I really do enjoy having canned meat on hand. And my kids are discovering how delicious it is. So anyway, my goal is to get this pot full of a nice juice that's like a V8 juice. Now, whether I get it to that taste remains to be seen, because I don't know the recipe per se for a V8 juice, and obviously I'm improvising because I only have one more pepper. I do have dehydrated celery if I want it more like a celery taste. You don't know until you start to cook it, right? Celery, when you put celery into your soups and stuff like that, oh boy, it's so good, right? Like that, you got to have some kind. So if you don't have it fresh, at least try and make an effort to dehydrate so that when shit like this happens and somebody gives you 6 boxes of carrots and you don't know what to do with them, this is where it comes in handy, right? Because I still might throw in a little extra dehydrated celery into this as it's cooking, as I taste it. That's what I'm trying to say, right? All I know is I want to get this full. How many jars I'll get out of it? Well, at least a case, which will make me feel good. How much carrot I'm going to use, I'm not going to know until I get these tomatoes in there. And then, I'll probably, we don't want a carrot juice per se, but, I'll probably put in a fair amount anyway. And then, of course, I'll bring out my blender. I have to cool everything down. And I've just got one of those old school blenders. I've got other ones around the house, but my counter's in the kitchen. I just turned up the burner. You can see the steam coming. Can you see the steam? Right. Oh boy. There's something in my burner. I hate cooking when there's something in my burner. There's always something in my burner, though. Oh, my eyes are so bad. And then I'm just going to bring this up to a boil to start. I'll probably end up putting more of this in yet. That's my burner. That's Andre. He makes his little cheese stuff with his little breads and stuff. I let him do that so he can learn, right? I gotta go. Hold on. Okay, so I might be going into 2 pots here, but I'm going to start with this anyway. I ran that stuff through the food mill. I'm not too worried about a few seeds, okay? Right? I can really smell the cilantro. I don't personally like cilantro, but I know other people do. And it was there, so I can smell it. So hold on. Okay, so it doesn't look like juice to me, people. Right? That wasn't even a quarter of the box. Okay? After this, I'm going to get the potatoes into the oven there with that ham. I got a couple of sweet potatoes kicking around here, so I'm going to throw those in there. And then I'm pulling out my other dehydrator. Yeah, it's just too much, right? But don't get me wrong, I'm grateful because once it's dehydrated and jarred up with vacuum oxygen absorbers inside the jar and put away nicely in a cool, dark place, they'll last a long, long time. Plus, I'm making powder, right? But that's a whole box compared to, right? And on principle, right? You could do the same thing. You could use these carrots to do something like this if you wanted to, right? So before I put this, because I don't want this to go away, right? I don't. I want. Let me taste it. Let's see what it tastes like. Right? And don't forget, we still got the can of tomato juice. That's why I'm saying I might be going into another pot here pretty soon. Mild tomato. When you add tomato juice into it, and a little bit of lemon juice or lime juice, it's going to be really good. It's this that we have to get going. So I brought up the heat. Now I'll probably add a bit more water in here. I think I put too much carrot, but these things are very soft, right? Like I think they were blanched when they were frozen, right? So they're going to mulch up really fast. Okay, so after I upload this video, right, I'll put in the description box the recipe, kind of like what I'm using, and then read the comment, because the person that left a comment kind of changed it a bit. Well, I'm changing it too. So anyway, it said some bay leaves, so I put in like 5, right, for now, because it's a big pot. I can always take them out. I like bay leaves. I like the way bay leaves taste. So that's good. So we're going to put that in there, right? And then it asked for basil, either fresh or dried. Now, I had to go downstairs. I gave my son some basil when I went out and bought all those spices. You think I can find mine? No. I put mine in a little box, a bunch of little jars, and I moved the box because I have to get in there and rearrange. And the other stuff I put in storage, right? So I don't know where things are right now. So anyway, because I gave him some, this is fresh. Like, just bought it, a couple, 2-3 months ago. So we're going to put, it said 2, but my pot's bigger, right? So I'm going to put 3 in. Okay? Or maybe I'll start with the 2, and we'll just let it cook for a while. I don't think 2 is going to be enough, honestly. Right? I don't. Because this pot, I'm going to go and have to probably go into a second pot. I can see it already. Okay? I'm just bringing it up to a boil, and then I'm going to simmer it for a while. I'm going to throw in 1 more. So that's 3 for now. Okay? Just because. And then I'm going to throw some sugar in there. Right? A couple tablespoons. I'm going to throw in some Worcestershire in there. You know, they're dealing with tablespoons or teaspoons, but like I said, I know I'm going to be overflowing probably more than likely into another pot. I haven't even put this in there, plus the canned tomato juice. Okay? All right? And we're going to probably end up doing a little bit of lemon juice yet. We'll see. Okay, so as this is heating up, I just tasted it. I haven't put any garlic in there. I don't know if I'm going to. Now, I tasted it, okay? You definitely can taste the tomatoes, all right? That's the first thing I noticed. But the whole pot itself is mild, though, right? I can taste the carrots coming in. I definitely taste the cilantro, but it's mild. It's not overwhelming, so it actually adds a nice little touch to it, right? I still may put in a little bit more basil. We haven't given the bay leaves time to leach any flavor. and we've only got the one tablespoon of salt so far, right? And I put in 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire, and I put in 3 tablespoons of sugar, because I'm working in tablespoons, not teaspoons here, right? And so far, I'm telling you, it actually tastes good, but it's mild. It's mild. So when you put in that, and more than likely the tomato juice, which is going to tip it into another pot, so pretty soon you're going to see me working with 2 pots, right? It happens sometimes, right? I should probably go grab my other pot downstairs next time I go down there. I think I know where it is. It's hard, though, when you're bringing out all these big pots and then you have to deal with your canner yet, right? I'm just bringing this up to a boil. And then once it's to a boil, then I'm going to cover it with a lid. And I'm going to simmer it for a few hours, right? And work on other things. There's only so much space I have. I have to pull out the other dehydrator. I just have to. Because those carrots are starting to unthaw outside. So, you know. It's only got 4 trays, but 4 trays is better than no trays. And that one's a small one, which 4 trays, which will take up, you know, a little bit, right? And it takes a whole day and night to dry 1 box. So I'm doing good time, right? If I had more jars, more tomatoes, I'd probably do this again. But if I get 1 case of, you know, 1 liter jars, 12 jars at 1 liter, I'm feeling pretty good about it, and we don't even know what the end result is going to be. Now, I did want to say, though, if you wanted to, you probably could can it like that with the broth and with the carrot peels, like not peels, but the carrot pieces, like shredded. You could can it like that, right? So, but I don't want to. I'm trying to make a juice, basically, or a broth for soups or beans or whatever. Okay, so while I'm doing this, I'm going to show you, you shouldn't can it like that. If you can't do it with pumpkin, why could you do it with this? Okay? But I need to do this in order to make juice. Okay, you can see what I'm doing here. Like, I'm telling you people, I'm so fucking disgusted with everything. Okay? I bust my fucking butt. Alright? Like, seriously, I bust my fucking butt. Just so that my kids don't call me a kid. Well, maybe you should act like a fucking adult. You ever stop to think about that? But even if you did act like a fucking adult, you'd always be my kid. What part of that you don't understand? Kid. So just, I got basically 2 kids out of 5 left. Okay? I don't have a relationship with my oldest son because he chose to be an alcoholic and an idiot. Okay? I don't have patience for alcoholics, people. I don't. My mother was an alcoholic. Okay? I could have been a fucking alcoholic. I should have been an alcoholic. Anyway, Shemay didn't listen to me. No, she knew everything. And what did it do? It got her fucking murdered. Sierra didn't listen to me. And what did it do? It got her fucking murdered. Do you think the last 2 would fucking listen to me? No, because they got the cell phone that teaches them everything about life. They know everything and I know nothing. I'm just some fucking doormat. Seriously. They don't take serious what our governments are doing, people. They are like in a fucking la-la land. And because they are in a la-la land, they expect me to be in there with them. And being that I won't be, and I've been prepping for years, since Fukushima,
when it blew its stack. I mean, I always had extra food in the house tucked away in case of an emergency, but I didn't become a prepper until fucking Fukushima blew its stack. I've been just doing it for years, people. But for the last 2 years, I've been doing it hardcore. And my kids seem to think I'm fucking retarded. But when the shit hits the fan, where do you think they're gonna come? And will I get a thank you? No. No. They'll still cut me up over something, people. So you're probably wondering what happened. Okay, I'm in my groove here, okay? I'm working, right? What time is it? It's 20 to 8, and I'm not even half done yet. I figured I'd be in here till about 2 o'clock in the morning canning. But I'm like burnt out. Like this negative energy that comes into my space and tries to tear me down and rub shit in my face as they either take or whatever, right? Like it just sucks the energy right out of me because I'm already overworked, tired, worn out, right? Can't see very well, have to think twice as hard, right? Struggle with that, right? Live like a fucking farmer. Anyway. Okay? The meal is ready. So I called my son up to come up and get this ham that was graciously given to me for nothing. I put some old potatoes in there that came from Pastor Granny's daughter a while back. I guess I missed one bag when I dehydrated those other ones. So I thought I better use those up because, you know, they're growing roots, right? So I cooked up those. It didn't cost me anything. The bean sprouts I put in there. Okay, that was good, right? Anyway, Tisha comes. She drops off the 2 boxes that I'm paying for. She had to buy it for me first, though, right? Like, pay for it first. Because I'm broke. Because I've been doing this shit, people. Basically. Okay? Right? While I can. Because my kids, don't forget, my kids are moving out. Right? Tisha's gone. That's it. She's going to help me for a few months. Give me a few $100s. And then after that, I think after June or something, I'm on my own. Seriously. And then my son fucking drops the bombshell that he's moving out because he wants to have a life with his girlfriend and go have fucking kids. Yeah, okay. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck having kids in this day and age. Why anyone would want to bring fucking kids into this day and age, I don't know. It's not safe. That would be an irresponsible parent, don't you think? Considering what our governments are doing to 3/4 of the population? This is not normal, what we're going through, people. And the sooner that people wake up and fucking see it, they might be able to extend their life for a little while. That's all. Just extend it. What kind of life are you gonna have? Who freaking knows? But you'll be lucky enough just to extend it a little longer before it's snuffed out. Whether somebody's recording that process or not. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna pillage your body, people, so wake up and smell the fucking coffee. Okay? There is something out and about in the community that's not like us. And they're very good at being deceiving about who and what they are. But all you have to do is go out into the grocery stores and look around across the fucking continent to figure it out. I'm not talking about your local neighborhood. I don't care what fucking neighborhood you live in. Just look at the fucking continent. It's everywhere. For a reason. And if you notice, you don't really hear the true stories where the people are the ones that are really suffering around this. You know, because YouTube's got that censorship going on. I guess they bury those stories. You got some crazy mom with her kids and, you know, and dad died and no food in the house and no food in the grocery store and, you know, they're getting kicked out and, you know, and the cops are fucking chasing them because they're homeless now and, you know, and just the whole 9 yards. You don't hear those stories on YouTube, do you? But you know there's a whole lot of them around, people. Doesn't take that much to figure it out now, does it? Everything the government fucking likes, right? So that it can make itself important and keep itself employed, right? Anyway, my son makes his meal. I'm going to end this video on those boxes that I am paying my daughter back for, okay? Because I'm thinking about the children. I'm not thinking about me. I'm thinking about the children. Andre. Mainly Amari. And then there's little May. And the baby. And I guess if Marcane has kids, I guess I'll be thinking about his kids too. Right? $120 in fucking yams and sweet potatoes. Let's see how much that same fucking box will be costing. Those 2 boxes will be costing in 3 months from now, assuming that you couldn't even fucking find them. I'd like to know. I'll price it out and I'll let you know in 3 fucking months if it can even be found and how much it is per box. And my kids will still be fucking ragging on me. Oh, well, you want more? No, I don't want more. I got already. I'm good. I'm good, not you. Maybe you should go buy the fucking box and go dehydrate it for your own fucking kids. How about that? Don't depend on your mother to do it for you. Because you don't appreciate your mother anyway. Anyway, I'm mad. I gotta do the rest of this tonight mad. So, of course, right? It just happens that they came together like the good old days. You know, 5 kids, 1 starts, and it's like a ping pong machine, a pinball machine with the ball bouncing around between kid to kid to kid. And then the next one starts. Remember those days? Go into my fucking videos. Another one comes in. He's just being gangbanged by a bunch of fucking ungrateful fucking kids. As you're scrubbing the floor. And they're... Right? Any real mother knows what that fucking feels like. Okay. I don't know. Subject of food came up with jars. I need more jars because by the time I'm done this and the meat tomorrow, people, I'll be out of jars again. But I said I'm not going to be stupid and turn away food. I'm not expecting any food from Roberta. She hasn't come by. I don't expect her to come by because it was just clear to see the way she was treating me that day that whatever she was doing wasn't what she said she was doing in terms of being genuine. Okay? I'm not going to let somebody give me food in order to manipulate me. You understand what I'm saying? Right? Oh, I owe you something now because you're giving me donated food? Food that was frozen in the fucking snow? Okay. No, that's okay. So because she can't be that one up on me, I don't expect to get anything from her. So I guess you could say that pipeline is fucking closed. But didn't I tell Pastor Granny? Didn't I tell Pastor Granny before she died? I said, Pastor Granny, there's going to come a time when I won't be able to depend on you. So yeah, those boxes that you see on my porch, that's wheat. And if you run out of bread, you come to me and I will give you some wheat. Do you think my kids understand that concept? No! All right. One goes out the door, another one comes in. Next thing you know it, I've got somebody else dropping food off at my house. First it was those apples and the mandarin oranges and the cucumbers, which actually, those cucumbers, I checked them yesterday. I took a peek. Now I'm afraid that because I opened the thing, I introduced bacteria in there, but they should be fine, right? I need to can those, at least put them in jars. But I'm kind of busy with this stuff because those people came back and gave me the carrots, people. Right? I was thinking 2 days prior that I needed carrots before there were no carrots to find. Or that I can't afford it because my kids are fucking moving out and they're leaving me in a fucking sinking ship with fucking a house full of food. Right? So a stranger can move in. Think about it. In a crashing economy. So that they can come through my door after they move out and say, oh, well, what you doing? Oh, well, you didn't do it good enough. Something wrong here. Yeah. But do you think they'd fucking help me? No! Oh, sure. Tisha picks up jars for me. I don't appreciate that, people, because I do. Okay? But I'm talking about the really daily grind of it all. Right? Especially when spring comes and the yard blooms. Right? You think they're gonna come out there and fucking help me? Oh, hell no. They'll be out living their own fucking life, and then they'll come back and, gee, Mom, you were right. There's no groceries in the store. Do you mind if I have some wheat? Why, you think I'm gonna turn them away? Obviously not. But as they take the wheat, they'll still find something else to bitch about. That's the thing I'm talking about here, people. Okay, so whatever. Let's get back to the story here. I'm getting a fucking headache over this shit. I'm ready to throw this shit out the fucking door, okay? Like, seriously. Like, why am I wasting my fucking time? So anyway. You know, Tisha cut me up. Well, you've been doing this since, Fukushima, and you think you'd stop by now. When she wants to dig into me, right? So I was kind of like going in that direction, right? Because, I'm doing this. Right? Saying I need more jars. Oh, well. Well, I do. Because they said they're going to come back. That's the thing. They said that I didn't ask them to come back. I told them, in light of what our governments are doing, I'm not going to refuse it. I wish there was something I could do for you. Oh, no, you don't have to. Okay, great. I heard that before, but look what happened with Pastor Granny's daughter, right? Not my fault. I'm not the one that fucking treated her like she was a fucking criminal. It was the other way around, over fucking old food. Okay. And then all of a sudden I'm now getting more food. For whatever reason, always had food in this house. That's all I've ever been in the last 10 years in this fucking kitchen or in the yard with food. So, I'm like, okay, well, they're telling me they're going to come back and give me something. They're already warning me. Right? So, after I'm done with these jars, I want to make sure I have a few jars because I'm not just thinking about Andre and Amari and me. I'm thinking about my son, his girlfriend, right? Whether they have a baby or not. Obviously, I'm thinking about Tisha, Alex, and their 2 kids. If the shit gets real bad. To which it may very well do that, people. Well, my kids are stuck on their cell phones, living in La La Land, thinking everything's going to be fine because our governments are just. When clearly, if you look across the fucking continent, there's nothing just about what's going on. And I can't reach them, people. That's the thing. They're in complete fucking denial. Just like Shimei. Shimei, leave the bastard. right? He's dangerous. Don't you see that, Shimei? You know that. Why did it take her so fucking long? And why did she let him back into the house? Why did she go back to that grandmother's house that completely abandoned Amari just so that Shimei's smokes could be laced with fucking fentanyl and then smoke and not realize that she was being murdered? Because she was dumb. She didn't listen to me, people. At the rate things are going, my kids would starve if I wasn't here. At the rate things are going. So anyway, my son's got his plate. There's a little, right? And I reminded them, because I can't even tell you how it started, because, I'm asking for jars, right? Because I'm getting more food as they're rolling their eyes, mainly Tisha. And Marcaine saying, yeah, and I told Tisha, you need to kind of like get up on this shit and learn how to do it. Marcaine said, yeah, it's a good skill to know, especially in this time. And then my son said something, and I said, well, this meat was free. What we're eating here, what you see, was free. It was given to me, right? And as a matter of fact, the potatoes I didn't pay for because I've had them for a while now, right? And Marcaine says, well, when I move out, you need to let me know where you get it from so I can get some too. And I'm like, yeah, okay, just rub it in my face that you're moving out. I got this house at a place where I can hold down the fort with the food and all that shit. I can grow fucking food. I can process the fucking food. And the fucking shipmates are bailing ship. And bringing in strangers. While they think they can come here and tell me what to fucking do and how to fucking do it. And say that I'm not doing enough. And where that comes from? Andre went and had a bath. So as this is all going on, he comes out, because the food's ready now, right? I said, right? And he's been going through a growing spurt. So anyway, he's wearing these, I bought these orange pajama pants, 2 of them, at the thrift store last time I went with Andre, which was quite a few months ago. And I bought them to do a video in, where he was wearing a pair and I was wearing a pair, and we were up by the rocket stove, and we were going to walk back and forth between the two of us with these orange funky pants on, just to lighten the mood on a video for fun. Anyway, that video never happened, but between him and I, pajama pants, that's basically what they are now, pajama pants. And they were always kind of small to begin with. They don't even fit me properly, right? That's not why I bought them. But, they're clean. They're kicking around. He's been wearing them. He had a bath, right? He's going to go to bed soon. So those were his pajama pants, right? Only, he's growing. So you could tell that they weren't down to the ground in terms of the cuff, right? Of the pant. Okay. So anyway, for whatever reason, Miss Know-It-All, you need some clothes. Because she's fashion, right? She's all about fashion. And I'm already choked that my son is rubbing the fact that he's moving in as he's walking out the door with the food that I fucking came up with and cooked for him. And it's to me, it feels like a slap in the face. Right? That's what it feels like to me, people. So she gets on this bandwagon with, he needs clothes. And I'm like, well, those are pajama pants. He just had a bath. So I wouldn't worry about it right now. Right? And I'm like, well, before I go off and buy clothes, he has a filling he needs done, right? So I got to budget that in, but I've been kind of just topping off with this shit before it gets too expensive because my kids are moving out and I won't be able to buy butter once they fucking completely stop paying fucking rent, okay? And I'm left with a fucking stranger that might or might not pay fucking rent, or if not fucking maybe rob me blind downstairs. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Okay? And they think it's a fucking game, right? They think it's a fucking joke, right? Because they want to get on with their lives, have a fruitful and prosperous life while their government fucking kicks them in the teeth. Okay. Okay, well, when the grocery stores run out because of your fucking government, you'll be coming home to your mom asking for fucking food. Mark my fucking words on it, people. Mark my words. Assuming that it isn't robbed by the time they get back here. And then, who are they gonna blame? Me? Ha ha! What a joke that is. So that's why I'm mad, because I can't ever do anything fucking right around here. Even though I'm the one that's 60 years old and has managed to be here after all these fucking years, still trying to do something responsible. I sure the hell never ran away from my fucking problems now, did I? No. And I'll tell you something too. I never talked to my fucking mom the way my kids fucking still to this day fucking talk to me. So I don't even know why I do this. Because when the shit hits the fan, it still won't be good enough. They'll be picky. Well, I hope for their sake shit doesn't hit the fan. Because when it does, if it does, they're going to have a very, very, very rude awakening. So, I'm just going to show you this. I'm going to show you my 40-pound box of sweet potatoes and my 40-pound box of yams that sat in a van for 2 days. They don't like to be in the cold, but either or, I'm happy to have them. So between them and the carrots, I'll do the carrots first, dehydrate them, and as soon as I'm done that, I'm getting into my fucking sweet yam for Amari. Sweet potato and the yam for Amari. Amari will have sweet potato and yams for years to come. Even after I'm fucking gone. But honestly, I don't even know who's going to look after Amari when I'm dead. I just don't talk about it, okay? Because the attitude is so fucking rotten, it's pathetic. So, I kind of strained it. It's good enough. Do you see what I've done? You can't can that like that. That would be like a pumpkin. For whatever reason, the heat doesn't travel through it very good when it's like, that's too thick. So don't ever think that you can do that because you can't. But if you put it in liquid with more liquid with more liquid and you make it a little, you'll see how, right? That will be the next freaking video. Okay? So here I'm blending it up in here. taking liquid, making whatever, pouring in there, finish up that, okay, put it in there. Then I'm going to take this liquid, put it in there, probably open up that can of juice, tomato juice, put it in there, only I'm going to have to go spill into another pot because this pot will be full by that time, right? And then that should be pretty much it. I don't know if I want a fucking can, because when my kids do this shit to me, people, I'm telling you, when they do this fucking shit to me and they fucking sideswipe me one after the other, boom, boom, right? Used to be 5, boom, 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 right? One would start, before you know, it'd be like a fucking pinball, you know, in a machine, right? Just bouncing from one to another. Picking on mom, picking on mom, picking on mom. Go into my videos. You see me. Oh, my kids are picking on me. They're always picking on me. And when they move out, they still come around and fucking pick on me. Why? I tell Tisha, I don't go wherever you go and start saying, you need to do this. I don't do shit like that. Why do you think you can come here and do... I got fabric, I'm going to make Andre fucking pants. I can't afford pants right now. He's got pants that fit him. He just put on fucking pants that were good for pajamas for bed. It's not a fucking fashion show, okay? Once I'm done all this shit, for the most part, everything put away, I do plan to get those boxes out in the mail. I do plan on fucking sewing pants for Andre. With the fabric that I have right now, that's not going to cost me a penny other than my fucking time to do it. Same thing with Amari. I don't need to spend $100 on a pair of fucking pants in order to make myself fucking feel like I'm fucking important around here. When you're starving, nobody's gonna care what the hell you look like except a fucking player looking for some fucking hose. So, I don't know if this is the original box or what, but anyway, I have them now. That's obviously the sweet potato. And then we've got the box of the yam down there. You can see. Right, so I'm good.